So today we're back here for another speed build, and today we're going to go ahead and create this base game mansion complex, but this one is actually a collab with Kate Emerald. So if you want to go ahead and check out her part where she actually goes ahead and builds the exterior of this build, then I'll leave a link down below to that on her channel so you can go ahead and check that out first. And in today's video I'm doing part 2. I'm going to go ahead and finish the build. So this, like I said, is called a base game mansion complex, and what this is kind of like just 3 mansions joined together on one lot. So it's kind of like just really big townhouses in a way. So that's what we're doing today. So if you don't know who Kate Emerald is, first of all, she makes some amazing speed builds on her channel, so make sure you go ahead and check out her other ones, the other speed builds that she's done if you haven't seen them already, because she does some amazing creations. And we've actually done a collab before. We did I think it was like a colonial dream mansion or colonial mansion build a few months ago. And it was a lot of fun doing that, and I knew that we had to collab again at some point, so here we are doing another one today. So I kind of didn't show all of this because I've done this before where I've done like multiple homes in one lot. So say if I'm doing like 3 kitchens, it's kind of a little bit repetitive. So I think for one of the kitchens I didn't show the footage of. And also as well, 2 of these homes are on a diagonal, which made a lot of the furnishing very, very difficult, especially the kitchens. Trying to place counters and cabinets on a diagonal really just doesn't work. So I actually went ahead and did that kitchen first on the diagonal, which is actually in this house here with the grey walls. So I did that first, and I started to build it, and I was like, this is just taking too much time. It was like just so fiddly, and it just wasn't really that good to watch, I was thinking, in the actual speed build. So I just went ahead and deleted that clip and moved on to the kitchen in that sort of the house at the top, the third house, which is actually what you saw first of that kitchen, and because it's not on a diagonal, so I thought I'll show that in the speed build because it's a bit easier to actually see. So we're back on the first house here, so I'm kind of a little bit all over the place, but I'm kind of just, you know, doing what I want really with different parts of the build. And this kind of house here is very kind of grey monotone inside, but for the main part, like, well, the bedrooms are slightly different in terms of the colours, but for the main part of the house I went for grey, and then I went for like green as like a sort of like a feature colour, I guess you could call it, because I never really do green in builds, well, really ever. So I thought it was kind of a nice change for that, and it kind of breaks it away a little bit from all that monochrome and white, so I thought that was kind of nice. So in total, this build has 10 bedrooms and 6 bathrooms, I think it is, and it came in about 650,000, which I think is a reasonable price for a house this size, to be honest. It's still like on the pricey side though. So I don't know how many like each house has in terms of bedrooms and bathrooms, but I know in total has 10 bedrooms. Now, if you're looking on the gallery, because this is up on the gallery, by the way, my origin ID is RealThomasTV1 if you want to go ahead and get the furnished version. And I'll also have a link down below to that in the description if you want to go ahead to the online gallery and download it that way. But what I was going to say is that if you go to the gallery, underneath it will say that it has 9 bedrooms and 6 bathrooms. That's just because you can only select up to a maximum of 9 when you upload it to the gallery, as like the little option things. So I couldn't put 10 in there, so just so you know, it does actually have 10 bedrooms. But yes, so we're just working on one of the first bedrooms here. Now, I didn't really have a particular type of family in mind that would be living here, because it's kind of a very sort of unique type of build, I would say. So I kind of struggled to think of what I could do for a family. So like some of my other speed builds, I did keep the bedrooms fairly neutral, so there isn't any kids' rooms or anything. So I just leave that up to you. If you want to go ahead and add some kids' toys in here and there, then feel free to do that. And also let me know if you have any suggestions of how we could actually, you know, use this lot, because I know I've done a lot of these type of lots before if you're new to my channel, like multiple homes on one lot, like little villages and stuff with multiple homes on it. So, you know, they aren't the most practical things, but they're kind of fun to build. So, you know, if you have any suggestions of what the storyline could be for the people that live here, then let me know in the comment section, so that'd be great to hear. So we're just working on one of the study areas here. Now, this is like a little bit interesting. I was just trying to do something a little bit different here, and what I actually did is that I used a dining table as the desk, the desk, because I never use like dining tables as desks for some reason. So I know that is possible though, so I thought, you know what, let's go ahead and do that for a change. And because it was kind of long, I decided to go ahead and put 2 computers on there, and I kind of made some like interesting shelf pattern sort of thing on the wall there too, just to make it look a little bit different. And also as well, it's not just, well, yeah, I did say it's base game. The entire exterior as well is base game, not just the interior. And you know, because it was base game, this build was very, very difficult to do. I spread it over 3 days because like I would do one room and then I'd just be exhausted. But in total, it only took me about an hour and like 20 minutes to do in total, which is still a little bit on the longer side for me, but you know, it's a pretty decent amount of time, I think, for a build this size. And the other thing as well, that especially not all of the houses, but this one here, this third one at the back, and one other one of the houses as well, actually has a third floor. Now there isn't anything up there really. It kind of just takes you up to like an outdoor balcony sort of thing. And in the third house, you would go up the stairs and there'd just be like a really long corridor, which you couldn't really do anything with. So I actually talked to Kate about it, like seeing if she'd had anything in mind for it. And I just decided to leave that blank. So on the third floor, it hasn't got anything done to it. There is still staircase going up to it though. So if you want to add something else in there, then feel free to do that. So in terms of the other kind of things that are around this build, in terms, you know, not just the bedrooms and bathrooms, I think all of the houses have their own study. And within those studies there are a few kind of extra things here and there, like, you know, like gym equipment and things like that. So there's some of the activities around. And it's also like, I guess it would be a shared outdoor area, because I think there's 2 doors going to the outdoor area at the back. There's kind of like a big patio, and through that there's like a big kind of barbecue kitchen area, big dining table and some extra seating there too. You can see it, you might have just got a glimpse of it there where the green outdoor seats were. That's what Kate actually did. I don't know if she finished with the exterior or not in terms of outdoor furnishing, but I went ahead and changed that area. Although she did actually furnish some other areas like little patios and things around the build, so I left that how they were because they're already decorated. But yeah, so just working on another bedroom here. Now, I'm not really sure which house is which, really, because like I was saying earlier, I kind of just jumped between different areas within the build, and kind of just did the bits that I kind of felt like doing. And also another thing about this build is that it actually uses tall wall heights, which I would never ever do. And I know Kate does that a lot with her builds, is use like taller wall heights. Personally, I always go for short, so, you know, it was kind of, you know, it's not really a bad thing, it's just something a bit different for me, which is great because it was a little bit of a challenge to try and make tall wall heights work in a build like this. Now, the only problem I had, well, I had several problems, but one of the problems I had with this build was that the combination of tall wall heights, the modern theme, and base game, those 3 things don't really pair well together when it comes to curtains, because there literally are not a single curtain that fits those tall wall height windows from base game and that kind of fit in modern theme. So most of the windows in the house don't have curtains in. But afterwards, when I was thinking about that, I thought it wasn't really such a bad thing, because, you know, it's just very big glass modern windows that kind of take up the whole wall, and kind of having curtains I wouldn't really think would fit that well anyway. So it kind of just looks nice with something a little bit different, not having curtains everywhere. I think, is it from, yeah, it's from Dine Out. I think there's some nice modern kind of style curtains that work with those big windows, which I use a lot, but since it's a base game I couldn't do that. And also another thing, just a tip if anybody's building base game things and you have several packs in the build, or you have all the packs, one thing I really recommend is to actually disable the packs. It's not uninstalling them, you don't have to go through the whole install process again once you're finished. Basically what it is, it's just like a little command thing that you put in the origin properties of the game. You can get it from James Turner's website, and he has like a little thing that you can sort of click on all the different pack icons that you don't want to have, and then you kind of, it makes like this string of text which you copy into Origin, and when you load up the game, all those packs that you selected are not there, which makes it really easy for base game builds like this. And I always do it for base game builds, because especially when it's like, you know, you've got all these different items to look at and you've got a big space to fill or something, and you are really tempted by the other items that you can't actually use. So, you know, it helps with that. And the other thing as well is that it helps with just speeding the whole process up a little bit, because, you know, you focus so much on things that you can't use. The only thing you see in the catalogs is the thing you can use, which makes it really easy. So I didn't actually show that there because they're a little bit fiddly, but when the camera turns around the game, you can kind of see there how I made like a full wall full of bookshelves. So I took those bookshelves there from base game. I don't know which ones. I think they were some of the most expensive ones. I don't know actually, but they look pretty basic looking actually. But I kind of saw that they actually fit really well if you stack them on top of each other with a tall wall height, and they kind of fit perfectly on top of each other without like clipping through the roof or anything. So I went ahead and did that. It just did something a little bit different, and it kind of filled up the wall nicely in a different way. So I went ahead and did like a full wall full of bookshelves there in that study. And that study was actually pretty big. There's like again, the kind of double desk thing there with the dining table, and I also did a little seating area, and I think I put an easel in there as well if I'm not mistaken. So this is the outdoor area that I kind of redid, and I'm just kind of putting a few chairs here and there, the dining table, and I also made like a full sort of kitchen area with the one of the barbecues, a few counters, and a sink and island counters as well, just to kind of fill up the space a little bit since it was a pretty big patio area. But you know, it's only base game, so there isn't, you know, that many things you can do with it. But other things outside as well that I didn't mention is that Kate actually went ahead and put in like a climbing frame for kids. So if you want to go ahead and actually put kids in here, like I was mentioned earlier, and I like a few kids toys and stuff in, then they do have some other things to do. And there's also some planter boxes as well. So if you want to do gardening, that's also another option you have there for another activity. So we're just working on this house here, which I think is the second house that we're just kind of doing, and it's also a little bit smaller in terms of like the main area of the home where like the kitchen and dining and living room is. So you can kind of see it's all in the same area there, but you know, nothing wrong with that. And we're kind of just putting a few little decorations here and there. One problem I had, which I always tend to have with base game builds, was the paintings, because there isn't a lot of base game paintings, I thought. Which means I kind of ended up using the same ones over and over again. I did actually try and use a few like posters, well, not really posters, kind of just like framed photos of like random things. So for example, you may have seen those little sort of like magazine publications and those little frames. I don't even know how to describe it. I went ahead and did that, and also those paintings there you can see on that wall right there where the desk is, that one as well. I don't really use that, you know, too much. And what was the other thing I did? Oh, that was it. You may have seen that next to the kitchen. There's these little sort of wall decorations. I don't really know what you call them. They're kind of this long oval sort of shaped thing. I don't really know what you do with them really, but I kind of just made some patterns with those on some of the walls too. And that rug there, you may see that the borders of it was glitching a little bit. I don't really know why that was happening. It was really odd. I don't know if anybody else is having that glitch with that particular rug, but I don't know if it was because most of this lot is on a diagonal. That may have had something to do with it. I don't really know. But yeah, so we're just working on one of the last bedrooms here before I head onto the screenshots. I really hope you enjoyed. In the comment section down below, let me know about what you thought of this build. If you have any more suggestions for other builds or anything else you want to see next on the channel, that'd be really helpful to hear. Once again, make sure you go ahead and check out Kate's channel if you haven't already, and if you're new here today, then welcome. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.